Hi, I'm Amy. Until 2 months ago, I was the senior and only historian at the U.S. National Science Foundation. While there, I had the great privilege of teaching some of America's best scientists how and why NSF was started, how Congress has changed NSF's policy over the years to actively respond to the changing global environment, and how NSF-funded research affects the United States of America and the world. I taught about things like how the Graduate Research Fellowship Program, GRFP, was NSF's first program, deemed so important to the future of the nation that the first National Science Board chair almost asked the White House for a loan to get it started before the first NSF budget was approved. And how former NSF Director John Slaughter's conscience wouldn't let him go along silently with the Reagan administration's cuts to education. Today, May 10th, is the 75th anniversary of President Truman signing the law that created NSF. On this May Day, I come to you with an offer and with an ask. First, the offer. As the United States government no longer values or requires my services, I'm offering them to you. I'm not the only NSF historian out there, but I'm good. And when I don't have the answer, I find smart researchers who do. I think I can speak for my colleagues when I say we'll help. We are here for you. Like scientists, historians are empiricists. We know that smart decision-making rests on a solid understanding of context and underlying framework. We can supply that. A very few of the great articles and testimonies on the importance of and the investment return of taxpayer-funded science and the consequences we are already facing are linked below, but we need more that aren't behind paywalls. Are you investigating the reasoning behind programs, initiatives, and directorates at NSF? Do you need more background on the changing support for disciplines and subjects over the decades? The history of legislation about or affecting NSF, science in America, and the funding of basic science after World War II? What about how it guaranteed our status as a world leader in science, one that collaborated and shared information across borders? I can help with this. Send your information requests to LastNSFHistorian@gmail.com. Now the ask. I want to hear and compile your stories. Not the stories about scientific breakthroughs, although those are great. I'm looking for the stories about how work funded by NSF has improved your lives. I want to hear what happened to you and how you were affected. You don't have to be an NSF-funded researcher or a recipient of an award. I'm not, but I have a story. I was sitting at this table in one of these chairs in 1989 when I decided I wanted to become a scientist and work for NSF. My favorite shows were Square One TV and 3-2-1 Contact. They were the only shows that I felt were actually addressed to me, a nerdy girl who didn't have a lot of academic support or encouragement. They taught me that it's okay to ask questions and how important it is to keep going even if you get the wrong answer. That meant a lot to me. So I paid attention, even back then, to who funded those programs. Those shows were NSF branded, so I knew exactly who was looking out for me. This story highlights the value of the Education Directorate specifically, who carefully chose and funded the unprecedented research and production of these shows. Shows that engaged with and related to kids through representation and humor, while also explaining things like probability and physics. It really worked on me. Without that, I would have gotten discouraged and done something that didn't mean as much to me. I wouldn't have gone to college, and I wouldn't have understood the value of working in public service. But because I got to sit here while NSF reached out to me, I asked for a telescope instead of a car when I turned 16. And I went to college for astrophysics before switching to the history of science in grad school. I am not the only person with a story like that. People all over the country and the world have benefited directly from NSF, and I want to hear about it. Send your stories to LastNSFHistorian@gmail.com. Knowledge is more powerful than money. They may try to take our future funding away, but they can't take away the investments that we already paid for. If you want to help keep NSF and the funding of basic science alive in the United States, make yourself heard. Go to SaveNSF.com for tools to help you spread the word. Talk to congressional representatives. You can call the U.S. Capitol Switchboard at 202-224-3121 or use one of the links that I put below to connect with your senators and representatives. Science is an endless frontier, one that advances health, prosperity, welfare, and defense of everyone, as long as everyone is invested in it. Aren't we worth that? Thanks.